be a sponge, and then bring the juice.
By focusing on your improvement, by focusing on your progress, and eliminating any fixed mindset that you may have and acts of perfectionism, then you encourage your own mastery.
On some level, we do what we want to do 24 hours a day. Now, sometimes it may not seem like that, but if I'm choosing to work instead of sleep, what I'm actually saying is keeping my job is more important than sleeping.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of getting beat. What can I do to get over this hump? So mentally, that's when I kind of put that forefront, like, hey, it's either all or nothing.
I like to put failure in quotations because I don't believe that failure is true failure if you're looking at it with the right mindset.
The truth is, the journey to greatness is hard. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, and every day you have to decide what you value, what you want to pursue, and what you want to achieve. And if you dig deep enough, if you push hard enough, we all have what it takes to be great. Welcome to the Edge of Greatness.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Dose. It is January 26th, and today I wanted to talk to you about change. I'm in the process of making some changes. I'm trying to evolve my newsletter. So that's a big one that's going to be happening here shortly. But to be honest, I'm in the process of making several changes. I'm not going to get into those changes right now, but change is an interesting topic because it's a part of life. It's something that a lot of times we can't avoid. Sometimes change happens without us having any say. But other times we have the ability to say, hey, I'm going to change this, or I'm going to try to change this. What makes that tricky is evaluating if that change is worth it. Taking time to ask questions. Figuring out why you want to change. Why is change necessary? If you start to attack change with that lens, it becomes less scary. You start to have a better understanding of why the change is coming, where you're going to go next, what you're going to do. And I believe that that's part of the reason why we struggle with change so much, is either it's sudden and we didn't have time to prepare, or we do it without thinking, and then it leads to regret or uncertainty or scary moments that are happening next. Change doesn't have to be scary. And I get that not all change is good. But if you start to take the time to evaluate the change you're going to make, you start to lay out what's next in the process, you can at least make a better educated decision on if that change is right for you. And I think when you start to do things like that, when you start to take the changes that are coming and you start to evaluate them through various lenses and you start to look at them from different perspectives and you ask questions, you get the answers you need to feel confident with your decision for that change. So I'm changing my newsletter over to Beehive, I think is how they pronounce it, or I don't even know. It's two I's and a V. So I still don't even know what it's called, to be honest. But the platform looks fantastic. I took time to ask questions. I connected with people who are already on it. I DM'd people who said, hey, if you have any other questions, hit me up. And everything I hear about it is it's a no-brainer choice for me. Partly because my newsletter following isn't massive, so I can switch over for free. And the other part of it is the connectivity, the features that are coming out, the way that they're constantly involved, and it's designed to help build and grow a newsletter, where a lot of these platforms are not like that. They're like a blog posts that you can send in an email. So I'm really excited. I'm really also very curious about what this will mean for my ability to grow my newsletter. But ultimately, it's a small change. And I think that if you start small and you start learning how to make changes, over time, you can develop the skill to evaluate and make bigger changes. You know, I've got a couple pretty big changes coming up this year. I'll probably get into them a little bit when we get closer to them actually happening. But while they're on the approach, I'm evaluating certain options. I'm looking at different perspectives. I'm trying to ask questions. I'm opening up the door to feel as if I've fully understood what's coming. Now, that being said, I don't know what's coming. Something else might happen. But I've also gotten to the point where I've gotten really good at rolling with the punches. So that makes me confident when change does happen that I'm going to figure it out. So next time you're faced with a choice, and one of those choices is to make a change, take time to evaluate what that change looks like. What does it mean for you? What's next? Pros and cons it. You know, you don't have to sit there and list it all out, especially if it's not a huge change. But if you get in the habit of looking at every change through this lens of curiosity and what ifs, what's the worst that could happen, you'll start to feel like you have this confidence to step into these unknown places and make these changes and figure it out as you go. I hope that helps for you today, because I know a lot of change is on the horizon. I know a lot of people are always looking for opportunities to make a change. And change is often something that holds us back because we're afraid of it. We don't like it. It makes us uncomfortable. So give that a shot next time and see how you do. If you have any questions or you're facing some big opportunities and you're not sure what to do, like always, hit me up. I'd be happy to help you out. Charles@theedgeofgreatnessproject.com. That's my email. And we can chat about it. Maybe I have a perspective or a site or something that can unlock the answers for you. But until then, as always, keep reaching for the stars. Fall flat on your face, but remember, whenever we fall, always get up.
Thank you for joining us today on the Edge of Greatness podcast. If you haven't yet, please take a minute now to subscribe and review our show. Join us again next week as we continue to dig deeper into the key components of greatness. The path to greatness is never linear, so remember to keep pursuing greatness no matter what. Keep stretching your abilities, reach for the stars, and fall flat on your face. But remember, no matter what happens, whenever we fall, always get up. Until next time, I'm Charles Schultz, and this was the Edge of Greatness podcast.